hasn't changed the whole thing, has it?
Blah.
Yeah. No, that's not good, is it?
I don't know. It's warmer.
Would that one be better warmer?
I don't know, dude. I was just. I don't do the lighting. I do audience and art. Hello, lovely audience, and welcome to another lockdown, quarantine, coronavirus video. Yay! Hopefully you are all staying safe and well. And just like Alex said in his update video, we're doing a couple of character ones, and this is going to be the first character video today. So I have a list of like half a dozen standard character questions and a few more that people wanted me to answer, which is fantastic. And I'm just glad to be talking to someone because I'm not an introvert, I'm an extrovert, and I am very, very much climbing the walls.
Some of you are probably climbing the walls a little bit.
Can I actually climb the walls? Ooh. Think gecko thoughts! Yes, you can if you choose the right wall. Why did I make Zeife the way I made her? Well, I joined the show quite late. I think it was episode 5 that I came in on, just because that's when I got hired to act in the show. I'd never played D&D before, so a basic bitch human fighter seemed the right way to go. And Tim, as we know, is also a fighter, also that nice big sort of barbarian type. But he's such a gentle soul that he could never just walk up and do something. He's also a bit thick, let's face it. Sorry, Tim, love you. So I created Scythe to be the sort of person who, if needed, could just walk up to someone and start a fight, or wander off and get into a bit of trouble, or bumble her way through something and actually push that plot, actually get the pace moving forward. That was all I wanted Zeife to be. What would I like about Zeife if I met her as a person? I think I would like her strengths, not just her physical strength, but her ability to be quite strong and determined in a certain situation. She's lost a bit of that here and there as we've gone through, but she's a very adaptable sort of character, and she always seems to pick herself up and to come out on top and want to protect people. At least she does now. I admire that about her. How is Zeife fun to act? Oh wow, I love her physical strength, the way she can just keep going, attack after attack after attack, the way she can stand in front of a party and just take the hits, sometimes miraculously dodging the hits, much to Alex's annoyance. But I really never expected her to have such an emotional range or any sort of character development. So she's quite fun to get into these tricky situations. But I've also really enjoyed the sort of heartbreak that she's been through, losing her family, re-encountering her father, who she thought would hate her. It's nice to have such a range of emotions to express. How has my character developed in ways I didn't expect? Like I said, she started off very much as just a plot pusher. So I originally played her quite cockily. Not that she was cocky, she was still chronically insecure and lost and traumatized as a person. But she was covering this with this bravado. So from growing up with her brothers that Aaron had given her, she had this bravado, this wanting to be like her older brothers and always swaggering around. And she started to lose that cockiness as she actually started to grow to love and trust other people in the party around her. She became a bit more insecure. She started mucking up. She started occasionally losing a fight and she didn't know who she was anymore. And then that development now, she's starting to build up into more of a tactician. That was something I never expected. I never expected to have this arc of going from cocky to insecure to then slowly forming these relationships with the party around her in the way that she did. And props to Dungeon Master for fitting her into that world so well that she has gone through all these very human, very personal experiences, very realistic real-world experiences. What is your character's current aim and affiliations? Her current aim at the moment is to... However, she's now developing a bit, especially with the downfall slightly of her family. She is wanting to fill her father's footsteps a bit. She is wanting to fill his footsteps, fill his boots, follow in his footsteps, follow in his boots a little bit, and become a worthy member of the Lord's Alliance, and bring her family name back into some sort of honour, some sort of reputation. Her father's one of the greatest military tacticians of the age, and she's well aware that she isn't the smartest, but she's trying. Bless her, she's really trying. Her main affiliation, really, is Alistair. And Joe, who plays Alistair, now, Alistair's description and personality is almost exactly like what I'd had written in about Zeife's younger brother, Orel. Both 17-year-old boys who get into trouble way over their heads, just want to do well, and always need a little bit of rescuing. Unknown to me, in a way, playing her, Zeife formed this sisterly protective affiliation with Alistair. So Alistair has become very much a brother replacement to her. Obviously there's the affiliation now with Sildar, with her father. She's increasingly fond of other members of the party, Tim, a friend, a fighting companion, and somewhat like a child. Shula, she again doesn't know what to make of her. Different race, not human, not quite sure what's going on there. But is quite impressed by and fond of Caboin. She thinks he's really smart, but doesn't trust him. Relationship with Caboin is up and down all over the place. Grenville, she thinks, is just a top lad, he makes her drinks. What more could she possibly want? Ooh, onto the character questions. So, Zeife specific. Why is Zeife so reckless, and is she starting to consider the consequences of her actions? And this person noticed that Zeife doesn't always throw her hand axe anymore. And yeah, she doesn't. When I first made Zeife, in addition to the normal rules, I gave her an extra rule just to flesh out her character a bit and determine how she fought. Being a fighter is important. So her rules I gave her were, in a fight, or if she's been startled by someone, if she's holding something in her hand, she throws it. This happened, I believe, fighting those giant worms underground. She was carrying a torch. Worm appeared. She threw the torch. Her second thing is that if there's anything nearby to grab very quickly, she will throw that. And the third thing, finally, is then she will draw her hand axe and she will throw that. So, yeah, she never considered the consequences of her actions. Very, very reckless. She'd always throw her hand axe first and kind of ask questions later. That was our Zeife. However, as she's grown closer to other members of the party, she started to trust them more. So Alistair and Caboin, she considers the smart ones. If they say, especially if Alistair says to hold, she'll hold. So Zeife's initial reaction is even to throw a hand axe at a dragon. But Alistair says, no, don't, so she doesn't. There's also Tim as well, this person she respects as a fighting companion. And as we saw in one of the more recent episodes when encountering an owlbear, Tim had said, no, don't throw your hand axe, so she'd held. As soon as Tim went down, she panicked, she threw her hand axe. I have worried at certain times that Zeife's actions have killed her, Tim, or an entire village. This leads me on to the next question, which is, does anyone, do her parents know about Zeife's orientation? Scythe is gay, she's a lesbian. So when she's looking to rebuild the family, that is not going to involve having kids. No. She hopes and she thinks that her parents don't know. However, let's admit that Sildar is not an idiot. There have been mentions throughout the show of Drella. Drella is Zeife's lover, essentially, and we haven't encountered her yet. Aaron keeps dropping hints that at some point Drella is going to show up. That caused a bit of friction with Alistair recently. The only fight Zeife and Alistair had was when Zeife was trying to keep her orientation secret and Alistair was picking away because he knew there was something to figure out. So thanks, Joe. Last Zeife question. Has Zeife... Oh, this is very appropriate to her. Has Zeife ever tried a booze that she didn't like on some level? No. No, if it's alcoholic, she likes it on some level. There has... Even the one that Grenwell made, that wonderful drink that made her go a bit high and spacey and see wonderful fire things, and then she put on the tiara and she had that awful trip. That she blames the tiara more than anything for that. She doesn't blame Grenwell, she doesn't blame the drink. She thinks Grenwell's great, he makes her drinks. No, that would be the only drink she didn't like on some level, but she doesn't blame the drink for that. A girl, she likes her drink. So, that's everything about Scythe. Wrapping up then, what are you going to have different in your next characters, and where's the show going with me and my characters? So, essentially we've got some exciting stuff going on. We've got a cyberpunk show, and I have a character called Sarah Kaufman. Sarah is much more tech savvy. She's much more that saboteur. She's the sort of person who'll be further at the back. She'll be fiddling with a bit of machinery, a bit of equipment, trying to rig an explosion, and she'll be the one who's hacking into droids. So it's going to be fun to play someone a bit more tech smart. After the cyberpunk scenario, we're going back into the fantasy world, our big homebrew campaign that all this test series has been for. And for that one, I'm playing a very elderly, restrained male elf called Haradel Liadin. Now, Haradel is, he's several hundred years old. He's seen a lot. He's going towards the end of his days at the same time as this campaign story is really kicking off. But I'm super looking forward to how Aaron beds them into the worlds, because just like how Zeife has developed and there's all the backstory still, even now, yet to be developed, and long may she panic and throw her hand axe, I'm looking forward to getting into these new characters as well. So, hopefully you have enjoyed learning a bit more about Zeife, and you can enjoy watching her in the shows, and hopefully that's also given you a bit of an insight into how the show's going. We really are going strength to strength. We're developing a lot in this test series. Next up in these videos will be Joe, who plays Alistair, and Oscar, who plays Grenwell. So if you have any questions or curiosities or anything for those two characters at all, comment them, Facebook, Twitter, especially now when extroverts like me are going a little bit mad. So please do hopefully continue enjoying the show. Share it with people who suddenly find they have hours of the day on their own to fill, and we can all laugh along together. Stay safe and keep rolling. You're now my lighting tech.